Hey, good morning. We're going to cover a couple topics here, so let's just jump right into it here. Here's a video coming out of LA, and you may recognize the name on the screen here.
Oh, this is on water trucks.
Yep. This is in California, not a fire in sight anywhere.
Wow, everything on. Oh my gosh.
I've been going around the city talking to firefighters and talking to paramedics. I've been talking to residents, and there's a deep concern throughout this city that the paramedics and the firefighters are understaffed because their budget has not been restored. From 15 years ago, when it was cut back, we have fire stations throughout this city that aren't mobilized because they don't have the staffing to do it, and it's just wrong. My plan as mayor is simple. We are going to restore the budget to bring the staffing levels back, to give the residents of Los Angeles the service they pay for and deserve. And that's the only way a city can be a great city. We have to reprioritize our budget in this city to make sure that our residents are safe and they're protected. And we can't do that unless we have a fire department that is fully funded and fully staffed.
There looks to be a Rick Caruso ad from 2022. I'm getting calls coming in from 2022, and you can see the headline here. This is some of his facilities, some of his buildings that he's developed. He's a developer, real estate developer in LA, and some of the only commercial structures still standing in Pacific Palisades or in the Palisades Village Mall, which was saved by businessman Rick Caruso, Karen Bass's 2022 mayoral opponent. This is a great learning moment. Caruso knew the fire risk considering, let's see where that is here. It's going to be here. Considering, where did I lost my mark here? He knew the fire risk considering he previously served, my phone's ringing off the hook, as a commissioner for the LA Fire Department, Department of Water and Power. He was also aware of LA's public fire service limitations, which is why he used, as you saw in the video there, private firefighting service to help save his real estate. It's a message for you all here. In many cases, you're not going to be able to depend on the government, and he surely did not depend on the government. And he saved his own buildings, and as you can see it here, they're up and running. You know, I was in an Uber this morning, and an Ethiopian cab driver said to me that there's a square in Ethiopia named after the mayor here in DC, Muriel Bowser. And I see if I think I have that up here. If not, I'll pull it up at some point. Let's see, this may be it here. Yeah, this is Muriel Bowser here. Let me maximize the screen. Addis Ababa unveils DC Square in honor of Mayor Muriel Bowser. I said, that's interesting. All the way across the country, all the way in Africa, they're giving this woman an award, and we've covered the epidemic, opioid epidemic here, but yet she's getting awards, trips in the country. And then I noticed this here about Mayor Karen Bass. And let's see, I think I have it here. Let's see if it's here. This is not it. This is it here. It's one of these articles here. I have it. Karen Bass in her when she first became mayor. I think this is it right here. She was asked about traveling out of the country. Why they asked her about traveling out of the country, I'm not quite sure. But LA Mayor Karen Bass promised before being elected to not go abroad, and was caught in Ghana when the fires erupted. And you can see here that the New York Times asked her, these ads keep popping up. LA Mayor promised voters before being elected she would not travel abroad, only to be caught gallivanting around Ghana when the worst wildfires hit. Just a year before she took office, Bass pledged to the New York Times that if elected, not only would I, of course, live here, but I would also not travel internationally. The only places I would go would be DC, Sacramento, San Francisco, and New York in relation to LA. It's very interesting because she moved. I think she was a former congresswoman, and she moved from DC back to LA. So it really made me wonder. Okay, so now we have Muriel Bowser getting an award in Africa, and then we have Karen Bass seemingly going over to Ghana. And these are very corrupt countries, and so just putting two and two together, they must be getting something there. And I would imagine is probably, as we saw with Mike DeWine in Ohio, there's some kind of kickbacks that these people are getting there. Which leads me into this mayor here coming out of Baltimore. Let's see if this is it. Coming out of Baltimore here. The mayor of Baltimore, here she is here, sued for $2 million loan default, facing mounting pressure. This is the former mayor of Baltimore, Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake. She was the mayor during the riots there. And she's facing a lawsuit filed by an Indiana bank over a $2 million business loan after monthly payments of $28,000 stopped abruptly, apparently. The bank is seeking the outstanding balance. The only reason that the public should be paying attention to the fact that Mayor Rawlings Blake borrowed this money and was unable to pay it back is because the $2 million sum of money is essentially taxpayer money that is being funneled to small businesses for them to thrive, and in this case, they did not. Loan documents indicate MD Rawlings Blake is named as president of Buy MBE, which is a minority-owned company. MBE is one of those black, affirmative action type business schemes, I would imagine, that connects local and mid-sized businesses with Fortune 500 buyers. So there is Stephanie Rawlings Blake, another black female mayor, entangled in some kind of wrongdoing there. So we have Eric Adams, Karen Bass, Muriel Bowser, all these people seemingly finding things, money outside of the country. I think this is a good time for me to take a break to say, hey, support the channel. Make sure you hit the like button if you're watching. If you're new here, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. Just covering a couple topics of the day. But before we go any further here, I do need to handle a little business here. A couple of people have been calling. I am the urban landlord, John Galt, by the way. And so I need to follow up with some of these people that are calling. So this was the Howard University lady that called about a week ago.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message
for her. And now I need to call the freaky guy. The freaky guy, he, let's see, he said he went in the room. What was his number? Was that, his number was, what was his number here? Call you in the morning. Yeah, it is him right here. Give him a call. Give me 1 second.
Please leave your message for 7.
Oh, he told me to text him. Okay, fair enough. All right, so coming out of D.C. this morning, we're just kind of randomly going through the news here. 2 police officers injured in a shooting. 2 police officers shot in a 300 block of Florida Avenue Northeast. To give you some perspective, the 60-year-old man that we rented a room to, he works right near here, 300 block of Florida Avenue Northeast there. 3 officers sustained gunshot wounds, so 3 officers updated. Conscious and breathing, 1 suspect has been pronounced dead. Wow, that's interesting news coming out of D.C. 3 police officers shot. Let's see if there's more news coming in. Let me tell this guy, give me a call. And let me tell the lady, give me a call as well. What is her number? Where is she? She had a 312 number here. Give me a call. Give me a call. Fair enough. She got that message. All right. Fair enough. All right. Let's see these DC police officers that were shot here. Let's see this update here. It's coming right before the
From
inauguration here.
Smith, the Metropolitan Police Department. I'm here today to discuss an officer-involved shooting. I'm joined today by Deputy Mayor Lindsay Appiah, Deputy Mayor of Public Safety and Justice, Executive Assistant Chief Andre Wright, who oversees our Patrol Operations Division, and Investigative Services Bureau Assistant Chief Ramey Kyle. At approximately 4:38 a.m. this morning, our officers responded to a report of a man with a gun who fired shots inside of a lobby in the 300 block of Florida Avenue Northeast. Officers quickly responded to the scene, and when they first arrived, they made contact with the individual, but then he suddenly ran into an elevator. Additional officers responded to the scene to search for the suspect. A few minutes later, the suspect comes out of the elevator and encounters the officers in the lobby. Officers attempt to take the man into custody at that time when he produced a firearm. During the struggle, the suspect discharged his gun at the officers, and the officers returned fire, striking the suspect. During the incident, 3 officers sustained gunshot wounds and were transported to local hospitals. Thankfully, all of our officers are in stable condition, they're talking, and we're so grateful that they survived this unfortunate incident. Other officers attempted to provide life-saving measures to the suspect, but unfortunately the suspect was pronounced on the scene. Agents from our Internal Affairs divisions are on the scene conducting the investigation in conjunction with our criminal.
I'm gonna pause it for 1 second just to give you an idea of where this neighborhood is right here. This is the neighborhood where this is occurring. Let me give me 1 second so you kind of see where this is actually occurring here. This is the neighborhood here. Give me shit. What did I lose it? Did I lose it? Oh yeah. Here's the neighborhood here. Let me see if I can let you take a look at the neighborhood. As you can see, this is a fairly affluent neighborhood here. A lot of high-rises, high-end apartment buildings. You may be able to see the stores around here. This is a very affluent neighborhood here. Let's see, kind of see just kind of, you know, Bitcoin Depot, Whole Foods. Very affluent neighborhood here. And so again, it's a shooting. 3 police officers shot in a very affluent neighborhood here in DC.
Investigations Division. The case will be independently reviewed by our U.S. Attorney's Office. The officers have been placed on administrative leave per our agency's policy. And what I will say is this is yet another reminder of the daily dangers that we face every day in our city and across the U.S. I'm very grateful that our officers were able to get through this particular incident without any further injury you have at this time.
What more do we know about the suspect? Was a resident of this apartment building?
So we're still trying to determine that at this point. The suspect that we know of was in the area. Evidently, he appeared to be very familiar with the establishment.
If he lived there, he was on some kind of Section 8, some kind of affordable housing program. These are expensive apartment buildings. I was there recently. There's a REI, you know, the high-end outdoor store there.
Of I should say the apartment, but we do not know whether he's a resident or we do not know how he came in contact with being inside that building.
How long was he in the elevator before he emerged again? Did he go to another floor? Do you know?
We do not know. That's still under a part of the investigation.
Were there reports of gunfire before the officers arrived?
That is correct. We received a 911 call advising that there was a man who had discharged his weapon in the lobby of the building.
Wow.
Did that come about because of an argument, or was he just in the lobby shooting?
Right here to the left would be like Trader Joe's, all high-end stores and restaurants. Very rapidly gentrifying area. Actually, this was not far from where the famed drug dealer Rayful Edmonds used to live. It's a rapidly gentrifying area close to the Capitol here in Washington, D.C.
That's still under investigation. There was a call made, like I said, to 911 advising that a gunfire had been discharged in the building, and our officers responded to the location. There was a concierge that was also located in the building who made us aware of the fact.
See, it proves that these are high-end buildings right here with concierges, yeah.
When the individual did come back downstairs, of course, that was the individual. And keeping in mind that we did encounter him.
He had to live there. You can't get up the elevators if you don't live there. You have to have like a key card or something.
when we first arrived. However, he jumped on the elevator.
Chief, how are your officers doing? Have you had the opportunity to talk to them?
Our officers right now are in good condition. They're talking, and when I say good, I do mean that they're stable, in other words, but they are talking. I'm actually headed to the hospital as soon as I leave this press conference. Any other questions?
So he came out of the elevator, I'm sorry, I just asked this. Then he shot, or?
So let me start over again. So officers responded to the location. When they respond, they encounter the individual. The individual jumps on an elevator and goes to whatever floor. He comes back down, and then he engages the officers and produces a handgun. The custody, and while attempting to take him in custody, he discharges the firearm.
So in the engagement process, we were trying to de-escalate, and he didn't seem to want to comply.
I explained to you what exactly happened. As part of the investigation, that will all be determined.
Do we know how many shots the person fired?
I do not know at this time.
And all three of those officers were hit.
That is correct. All three officers were hit with gunfire during this encounter.
Any message to the community? It seems like this was an isolated incident to this building.
It was an isolated incident. I mean, there are no outstanding individuals or suspects that we have to be concerned about. We have preliminarily looked at some of the video footage from the actual establishment, and so that determines that this appears to be an isolated incident in that particular lobby.
How many times was the suspect shot?
That's still under investigation. I'm not sure at this time.
Do you have an approximate age?
We do not know his age. We don't know who the suspect is. The OCME has not responded to the location as of yet, so that we were able to determine whether he has any identification.
Probably was a young boy. It probably was a young boy. This could be very interesting here. If it was a 14, 15-year-old young boy going in at the building, more than likely that's who it was. And they have an idea of how old he was. And you see that dead body there, you kind of guesstimate how old he was.
On him. Once we're able to determine that, we will have that information released.
Does that mean that the person, you don't know whether the person who made the initial call was known to the suspect?
I do not know that at this time.
What was the name of the apartment?
I think it's the Union Market apartment.
The Union Market apartment. Ooh, that's some high-end shit right there. Union Market apartment, Northeast DC. Let's see what this shit costs to live in that motherfucker. Oh shit, it gotta be expensive to live there. Got to be real expensive to live there. The gantry is what it's called. Let's see. The gantry. We got Negro violence in one of these high-end fucking buildings like this. Let's see what it costs to live there. Ooh, ooh, wait, the gantry. Look at this shit. Oh, imagine shooting in this motherfucker. Look at this shit. Now offering 1 month free. Look at that shit. Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what these apartments are going for. See what the availability looks like. What could a shooter afford up in here? What could a shooter afford? $21.50 for 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 486 square feet. That's enough for a man and his guns, I would imagine. $22.45 for 556 square feet. 687 square feet, $3,000, give or take. Damn. Just think, you live in a building, they have me shooting and shit. Amazing.
Apartment building, but if that's not accurate, we'll get the appropriate name for you. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
And there you have it there. There was the police chief. It looks like, was this him? Was this the shooter? Oh no, he's just missing. Every day is some missing people in this motherfucker. Every day. Who else missing? Trinity. They're always missing. Every fucking day they always missing. Anything else from the police about this? Have they found the shooter? Well, have they named the shooter yet? Have they named the shooter yet? No shooter name yet. All right, fair enough. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. Somebody sent me that. Let me close that. And that's where their apartment building, all high-end shit right there. Back to Elon Musk here. Elon Musk retweeted this with exclamation points, and I'll let you guys hear it.
Total available despite spending £54 billion a year on defence. The number of military-age males that has entered the United Kingdom illegally via small boats now exceeds the total available soldiers to the British Army.
Damn. And that was a retweet by Elon Musk there. More soldier-aged men have entered by boat into the UK than they have in the military themselves. You know, which brings me to immigration. I'm going to go right into immigration here. I was going to hold it off to the end. But I saw this video here. I'm going to play this, and here's some good news.
Hey everyone, today we have some exciting news for Indian travelers. The United States has just opened 250,000 new visa appointments for Indian applicants, making it easier for tourists, students, and skilled workers to travel to the US. Well, this is a huge step to help people like you and your family to get the opportunity to visit or work in the US. So what does it mean? That 250,000 new visa slots are available? Well, these new visa appointments will help Indian travelers like tourists, skilled workers, and students to get their interviews scheduled faster. This is important because many people need to visit the US for various reasons, such as seeing family, starting school, or beginning a new job. The visa interview is one of the most important steps before you can travel to the US. These extra slots mean less waiting time for your appointment. So why is this important? This move by the US Embassy in India shows that how important the relationship between the US and India is. Many Indians visit the US every year, and these travels are not only about tourism, but also about working, studying, and even meeting family members. In fact, this year, more than 1.2 million Indians have already traveled to the US, which is a 35% increase compared to last year. If we talk about the impact for students, then for students, this is even a better news. During the student visa season this summer, the US processed a record number of visa for first-time student applicants. This means if you are a student...
I think this is why you're seeing a lot of these mayors traveling to respective countries. Everyone's getting in on the jig here of the money to bringing these foreign students into the United States. As you can see, 250,000 visas. This was announced back in October, and I'll let the video
planning to study in the US, then you will have a better chance of getting your visa appointment quickly and being able to start school on time. US Ambassador Eric Garcetti said that Prime Minister Modi and President Biden wanted to make the visa process faster and smoother. And guess what? They have kept that promise. The teams at the US Embassy and consulates across India have been working very hard to meet the growing demand for visas. And these extra appointments will definitely help. But wait a sec. Did you know that 6 million Indians already have visas to visit the US? Well, that's a lot of people. Every day more
6 million. It's the size of LA.
Visas are being issued, which means even more people will be able to visit to the US soon. Well, in short, this is a great news for anyone planning to travel to the US. So whether you are a tourist, a student, or a worker, these additional visa appointments mean you can get your interview sooner. So if you're thinking about visiting the US, then now might be the perfect time to apply. Make sure to stay updated and do like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
Did you see all of those visas?
Might be the perfect time to apply. Make sure to
look at all these different fucking visas. H-1B, EB-1, L-1, H-2, and others. Mind-blowing, Sam I Am says. So you wonder, it made me wonder, like, what was the precipice of this? And I'll show you here All right, I'll pull it right down for you guys. You can take a look. And right here, days after Modi's visit to the U.S. opens 250,000 additional visa slots for Indians. The U.S. mission to India has opened 250,000 new visa appointment slots, benefiting various categories of Indian travelers. And we'll see what else was said here. The mission announced the opening of 250,000 new slots on Monday, after meetings held with Joe Biden. The new slots will help hundreds of thousands of additional Indian applicants take timely interviews, facilitating the travel, which is the backbone of people-to-people ties that underpin the U.S.-India relationship. How many of you guys have traveled and formed the backbone of people-to-people ties with India? How many of you guys? Most Americans have never even left their hometown. So who does this really benefit? Are Americans, the average American, benefiting by bringing an additional 250,000 plus the 6 million that are already here? She's saying more than 1.2 million Indians. That's more than, that's damn near some states aren't big. We have states that aren't this big. Have traveled to the United States year to date in 2024, a 35% increase over the same period in 2023. That is some amazing numbers. So I go back to the immigration, and why are these American mayors like Karen Bass, and we have Mira Bowser traveling to Africa? It really makes you wonder here, and I'm starting to put two and two together. And then if you remember a while back, we talked about fraud at Lehigh University, and some of the fraud not only was coming from Indians, but was coming from Ghanaians as well. And so you'll see in one of the articles now, fraud perpetrated by 5 foreign students from Ghana. And I'm thinking that there must be some kind of connection between what these mayors are doing, what is drawing them to Africa. That seemingly would be the money tied there, that they're going there securing these students the ability to come back to the United States, and somehow they're getting probably kickbacks from the African politicians over there. So that is my thought there. Anyway, very interesting thought. I was in an Uber ride this morning, and so the Uber driver, who was Ethiopian, mentioned it to me. So one of the things he was telling me about was they're thinking that they're going to be getting pay hikes. And so I looked it up, and here's some articles coming out of New York here, and I imagine these will spread since the DC Uber driver was saying this. New York is trying to end Uber Lyft driver lockouts with a pay hike. Uber drivers may see higher wages under New York City plan. So we'll take a look at this. It's very interesting as they are raising the wages for the Uber drivers, as well as putting the congestion pricing on their residents. They're really squeezing them on both sides here. They're gonna force a lot of people to either take the train or find work outside of Manhattan there. New York City is trying to close a loophole that Uber and Lyft have used to deny drivers millions of dollars in pay with a raft of new measures that would effectively raise their rates by roughly 6.1%. That will be paid by the riders, I'm sure. The TLC, which regulates the taxi and rideshare vehicles in one America's largest ride-hailing markets, is proposing to both address inflation, as it does every year, and make changes to the way Uber and Lyft calculates drivers' pay. Wow. That's very interesting coming out of New York, that the government is now going to be dictating how a company calculates its pay for its drivers. Very interesting. Again, these are contract workers there, and the government is going deep into their business operations to determine how they're paid here. And I think we covered this. This is Rick Caruso's development again. There's one more thing. Here's I think this is a Congress member here, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. And he's calling for all Americans make America great, including immigrants. We must increase H-1B tenfold and eliminate country quotas. I'm sure that's the way he feels. Make it easy to check immigration status, give EAD, I don't know what that is, and quadruple USCIS status staffing. I tell you, these people really are going pedal to the metal. Yes, this is a Congress member from Michigan. That's what I thought it was. He's on a tear about these H-1Bs. Says they are necessary to grow America's economy. Okay, fair enough. He's all about healthcare too. He will fight back against any cuts to healthcare. Speaking of healthcare here, let me see if I can find this tweet here. It's a woman tweeting about healthcare, and here's what she says. And you can take a look at this. New American mother just got her NICU, that's a infant unit, hospital bill for her daughter. $700,000 bill, almost $1 million. She says her new baby daughter was there a little over a month. $1 million for a little over a month. I'm telling you, this healthcare is nothing more than a racket nowadays. You know, unless you're really, really sick, your best bet is to stay out of it. They're just churning insurance cards. Let's see what she has to say.
I just got the bill for my daughter's NICU stay. Do you guys want to know how much it is? Do you want to have a conversation about the price? $738,360 freaking dollars. Almost $1 million. And then I decided to take a look through the itemized bill because they sent every single little thing that they charged for. And I swear there's things that they didn't do. And I swear there's things that they're overcharging for. For example, I noticed on the bill that there is a little tiny tube of Aquaphor that they gave me that I actually still have. $25. $25 for a tiny tube of Aquaphor that I thought the nurse was just giving me to be cute and give it for free. No, ma'am. They made sure to charge every single little thing. Damn, like that is crazy. I just got the bill for my daughter's NICU stay.
And well, you know, there you go. You know, my mother had a surgery not too long ago, and it cost her, it was about $750,000 as well. Yeah, I mean, healthcare paid for it, but the doctors are making out like bandits here with care. I had a friend call me yesterday. Well, I actually called him, and he broke his neck, so he's now paralyzed. And man, you know, he's up walking around, and one day, and then the next day, he's paralyzed. And I don't know, you know, life comes at you fast. Anyway, so we may get him on the stream at some point. You know, kind of talk to us about it. You know, because it's a very life-changing event there. I'm sure some of you guys may be interested in hearing it. But he's 40-something years old. You know what's interesting about him breaking his neck? And I was talking to my mother about it today. He had a store, a little neighborhood store, a corner store, kind of similar to the one that we looked at here on the stream. He'd been in prison, but he came out, did his prison time, reformed himself, never really got into any more trouble. And so he's running a convenience store right there in this neighborhood, and two young boys came in to rob him and shot him. And they tried to kill him, but then shot him, and so he was hurt. And when the police came, and they arrested him because he had a gun and he was a felon, so he went back to prison after being shot. And now he comes out of prison and he's driving, and he had I think he had a heart attack or something, and that caused the crash, which caused his neck to break. So I mean, terrible situation. Terrible. 49-year-old man. Anyway, coming out of Baltimore here, some interesting news. A security guard dies from shooting at McDonald's. And we'll see if we can play this here.
Have died in fires that have been burning for nearly a week. Firefighters.
Here. Here it is. I'm sure there's going to be an ad playing. Let's see what this ad is playing. Yeah, we do that. We do that next. Come on, ad here. Come on. Where is the ad blockers for this? Oh, this is amazing here. What the hell is going on? Well, anyway, security guard died after he was shot in the McDonald's in Baltimore, North Baltimore, on Sunday afternoon. Police responded about 4 p.m. to the fast food restaurant on Ryerstown Road. I know where that is. They found a man identified as Jamal Davis suffering from gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital where he died. He was shot at the entrance of the restaurant during an altercation. I'm in shock and completely devastated by the tragic and senseless act of violence at my restaurant this afternoon. Denitra Bell, the local owner. Let's look up the nature here. And let's see if this video is going to play. Wow, this is working. Let me refresh again. I'm curious to see what they're going to say outside this Baltimore. The nature bill. Nice looking woman. Yeah, board of directors, Ronald McDonald. Damn. Let's see what we got here. Damn, she had to hire security and all that shit. Tell you, it's hard to do business in these cities. Did the ad play yet? Can we play this? I really wanted this news here, but whatever. Let's see. Owner of the Northwest Baltimore location completely devastated after her security guard was killed here. Damn, you can't even read the article. I really want to see a video of this. I want to see this woman too. Let's see. Damn, what the fuck is going on here? All right. Let's see. Surely there's a video. Yeah, it's got to be some video. CBS News has that video. WMAR. Video. Baltimore. Gotta be something there. This video still not playing? Should be it right here. Then it just goes black. Is the video here? Maybe this is it. This is not it. No, this is it.
Car repairs again.
Just 2 claims saved us over $1,700.
If I didn't have insurance, I would have paid over $7,000.
What the fuck is going on with this shit? All right.
Out of pocket to repair my vehicle.
So make the call. Find out how much you could save with Endurance.
Call right now to get $300 off any plan. Call 1-833-440-3858 now.
All right. What's up with the security guard here?
From WJZ, this is breaking news.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting on here.
Well, as we come on the air, we are learning that the security guard who was shot today in North Baltimore is now dead. The police identified the victim as a 38-year-old male. Police initially found him with multiple gunshot wounds outside of a McDonald's on Reisterstown Road. Police say he was shot by an unidentified suspect during a physical altercation and later died at the hospital. Hello.
Damn, coming out of
Municipal employees is pushing for a bill named after David Martinez. Martinez was a parole officer who was stabbed to death while visiting a registered sex offender's home for just a routine checkup last May. The sex offender now accused of his murder. The David Martinez bill would make the state more accountable.
Could I rewind it? How the fuck do you rewind? You got what? How do you rewind that? Do they let you rewind this shit? He got stabbed. That is fucking amazing. Let's see where it can I rewind this? Gotta be able to rewind this.
For safety, tonight at 7, a vigil to honor Martinez's life is being held in Annapolis. All right, if you have an easy pass, listen up.
Oh man, he got stabbed by a sex offender. Give him a holiday, people. Give him a holiday. Anyway, to prove how much more the schools are just a scam where everyone's getting their hands in on the tax-funded grift here. Tens of thousands of tax-funded devices like iPads and Universal Jones laptops went missing from Chicago public schools last year. They ended up. They ended up in 108 countries. Boy, that's diversity. If you import 108 countries of people, they're going to start stealing and send shit back to their third world countries. 108 of them.
Dollars down the drain at CPS in the midst of a budget crisis. This brand new report revealing tens of thousands of laptops, iPads, and cell phone hotspots
Universal Jones laptops
were lost or stolen in the 2023-2024 school year. And thousands of those devices, bought and paid for with your tax dollars, ending up in other countries. More than 8,000 devices detected outside of Illinois. A majority overseas in 140 countries like Azerbaijan, Barbados, China, Ethiopia, Jordan, and Nicaragua. This report finding CPS's inventory process lacks accountability, recommending the district resolve asset management issues. Since it's paying for geo-tracking services, it, quote, barely used. Dollars down the drain at CPS in the midst.
Barely used. Dollars down the drain. I mean, you know, I tell you, man, like, to bring it all home here, you've seen, you know, the Black Mirrors not be able to control the fires, the crime, the opioid epidemics. Yet they jaunt off to Africa to get awards and get streets named after them, while they leave people dying behind them in their wake. I mean, you know, it's truly amazing here. Here's one more story. I do remember this story here. This was interesting. This is very interesting. Let's see if we can play this. Yeah, of course, it's got an ad. While that ad is playing, I'll tell you about the story. A young man was killed in his home.
I couldn't be more excited.
I got it. Young man was killed in his home.
To show off this incredible artwork from Messin Art. As you can see,
there you go.
Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor continues our live team coverage tonight. Rebecca's taking a closer look at some potential gang ties among the victims. And Rebecca, we understand that police haven't confirmed this connection yet at this time, but apparently Fox 45 news sources are saying otherwise.
Yeah, that's right, Kai. We now have multiple law enforcement sources close with Fox 45 that have confirmed at least one person involved in Tuesday's house and mass shooting is connected to an infamous street gang, and the possible ties don't stop there.
It was in succession.
The brazen mass shooting shaking Baltimore County to its core.
And then it went boom, 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 boom.
Raising suspicions this wasn't a senseless act of violence.
It's really shocking.
But rather a calculated message.
They just that value human life to perform and act like that.
Right now we haven't confirmed that it's gang related. We do know that there appears to be at least some rival individuals.
Baltimore County Police not yet confirming or denying gang involvement. However, multiple law enforcement sources telling Fox 45 the deceased victim, 26-year-old Charles Graham, was a Crips member. His criminal history speaking for itself. Since the age of 18, Graham racking up a laundry list of gun, drug theft, and assault charges. Most recently, social media posts showing Graham posing with multiple firearms, leading police to make an arrest in 2020, where he spent a year behind bars for illegally possessing weapons. According to authorities, the mass shooting also connected to last week's Towson home invasion, in which...
This is the home invasion that I'm familiar with right here. They went into this young man's home. You can see him, they're bringing him up here, and killed him in his home here. And then they act like they didn't know why he was killed here.
19-year-old Andrew Blessing was shot and killed while sleeping in his bed. Further investigating, revealing Blessing, recently the target of an investigation spearheaded by Baltimore City's Group Violence Unit, a unit dedicated to fighting organized crime. Last August, BPD carrying out a search and seizure warrant at Blessing's mom's home in Loch Raven. According to charging documents, several shotguns, handguns, and...
At his mother's home. These are the ones that Be Brave talks about, the 70%. Like, there's no way he's storing all these shotguns and drugs in his mother's home and she don't know.
Rounds of ammo were confiscated. After serving a year sentence, Blessing released this August. Just a few months mysterious.
And he probably came right back home to mama.
murder.
It is very possible that it could be retaliation, but again, we don't know those facts.
Betsy Smith with the National Police Association saying investigators now have a long road ahead of them, one that will likely require the entire community to pitch in.
The community's got to decide if they're tired of this and if they want to help the police department stop this kind of crime. The next steps for investigators are trying to find witnesses, interview them, comb through all of that camera footage. There's going to be a lot of good camera footage, and then see how cooperative people want to be, and see if some of these folks are known to law enforcement.
Now this evening, I followed up with Baltimore City and Baltimore County's police departments, asking them to confirm or deny the possibility of any gang activity. Baltimore City has yet to get back to me. Baltimore County says that's still under investigation. Reporting live in Baltimore, Rebecca.
Baltimore City, they like, well, you got time to get back to you. Hey, I see Universal. You said there's an update to the DoorDash story. Is that what you're saying? We have to cover that over on the other stream there. Yeah, I'm interested to see what they're saying about this this new DoorDash story. That the DoorDash scammer is what Universal is responding to. Anyway, guys, this has been interesting. It's been fun. They kind of around the globe here, we've seen like some really bad behavior by these black mayors. And again, you know, what I'm suspecting is that they're not traveling over there to Ghana and Ethiopia. Here's Mira Bowser in Ethiopia. And here's the mayor of LA. And for some reason, the New York Times found the need to ask her, will you be traveling internationally once you take office as the mayor of LA? And she said no, emphatically no. And yet she found herself in Ghana at the worst possible time. What drew her to Ghana? I think we're going to find out going forward that she may have been getting her pockets lined by going there. What other reason would make sense. But anyway, thank you guys. And before you get out, make sure you hit the like button and make sure you support the channel. $5 a day for Portia J is a campaign that we're running here. And then we also have HB, Stanley, Get Crack, me, John Galt here.